You've written an opinion, a piece that you wrote that Canada's not paying enough attention to these unidentified aerial phenomena, or UFOs, as most of us would call it. Can you explain a bit about that?
Yeah, we just don't think that we've got any kind of public news the same as anywhere close to being similar to what's already out there in the public in the United States. I know that I got excited about this when I saw it in the New York Times in 2017, the front page story, the talk about the Pentagon dealing with wanting to study it more with their military personnel. Then you get the Director of National Intelligence indicating that there's some reality to the subject. And then, of course, the co-sponsored report that was put forth in legislation in Congress by bipartisan units in Senator Gillibrand and Senator Rubio. That's quite a combination to be able to interest the American people. We don't have that in Canada right now, and I think that I've taken it upon myself to put some questions to the National Resources Committee.
Well, what can you share with me about what the Canadian military has seen? Or certainly I know of some of the Canadian sightings out there, but share a little of that with me.
Well, we know that there's been some sightings in some of near or around some of our nuclear facilities. There's been sightings across the whole country. There's been data that's been gathered in a couple of areas, but we haven't had very much public discourse on this at all.
We were just talking to Lou Elizondo, and I asked him about Canadians being briefed. We know that you've been briefed on some of this previous report.
I met Mr. Elizondo myself about a year and a quarter ago or so had a briefing with him. That's after he left the U.S. military to become more public and getting the information more public. We know that we don't know whether the Prime Minister has been briefed in Canada. My colleague in Defence on our side of the House has put forward a statement on it as well. But other than that, there's been very little discourse. We do know that the minister has been briefed in Canada, but beyond that, there hasn't been very much discourse. And so what I'm trying to do is say that we need to have a parallel program to what the United States already has in accumulating this information in a common area. And we think that just with the objective to determine what the origins and intent of these UAP are, and it should be probably discussed and done through the Canada Chief Science Advisor, which is Dr. Nimmer in Canada.
Well, I want to ask you about that. In this public hearing, they said that they are working with NASA, they're working with our allies. I'm assuming that might mean Five Eyes. What would you like them to share? They seem to be dealing it more from a national security issue, but Canada isn't.
Well, I think we need to be careful with that, but we need to move forward with hopefully a nonpartisan party here in Canada as well. If there's any issue that we can be nonpartisan on in Canada, it should be this one. And I think that we've got an opportunity to bring the discourse to a more public realm and just have a recognition of what's already taken place in the legislation passed and the reports that have come out of the U.S. We know that these objects, these phenomena, do not know what borders are. So we need to take into consideration that this is a North American airspace, and these things transcend into both of our nations and the United States. So there is an opportunity there to discuss these things more openly. We just haven't got the discourse going here, I think, to even get our Canadian people to say, oh, well, we're in much of a conjunction with the discussions with the U.S.
You sound a little bit frustrated that Canada's just not taking this seriously enough.
Well, when you see the information that's come out of the United States, you'd have to take it seriously. And we're just saying that we need to get more, as I said, we need to identify the origins and the intent of these UAPs. And that certainly can't hurt anything. It's got to be developed between our countries. We should be sharing that information. And it's certainly something that we think the effort should be undertaken to investigate and make those findings public in a responsible manner.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
Probably not. Out in the southwest part of Manitoba and the prairies might be a great place to see it because there's not much out there but stars at night. But anyway, no, I haven't seen them myself, but I'm interested in the discussion. just from an inquisitive nature, as well as what could be there in regard, and because we don't know what the intent of these phenomena are, or any other serious nature that may be in their development.